Hey beauties, it's Court. I am so fucking excited. This is going to be my very first tutorial ever, my first of many, I am sure. And it's extra special because it is a collaboration with a very special friend of mine. We started out just following each other on Instagram and talking on there every once in a while, and then we both got Snapchat and we snap each other every day and we're becoming very close. Her name is Elizabeth and she's just fucking awesome. If you like me, you will love her. She is beautiful. She is very good at makeup. She has a beautiful collection. Her Instagram is just stunning. I cannot say enough good things about this woman, which is why she asked me to collab, but it was, you know, it was both of our decisions. So it was like my decision to make her my first collab just because I respect her so much and she is so good at what she does. The look I did is the look on my face right now, and it is using the Comfort Zone palette by Wet n Wild. You know it, you love it, you probably own it, we all have it. It is $5 at the drugstore and it's really not that hard to open. And I did mainly use this side of the palette. I actually don't think I used any from this side. I did just use all of these, but I will tell you I snuck in one shadow from this e.l.f. Prism palette. It was this center one right here. So you can pretty much use any gold shadow all over the lid that you would like. I'll explain that all in the tutorial. It is a voiceover. I tried to compact it down to just the bare minimal for you guys so you could just get in, learn the look, do it yourself, and get on out. So, how about this? Did you notice my new background? Isn't it cute? I put my little scarecrow back there. We should name him. Let's name my scarecrow. Comment below with a name for my scarecrow. Does he... I don't think he has a penis, so I'm pretty sure it's a girl. So let's name my girl Scarecrow. This poster right here, I love it. I'm gonna put on the screen where you can skip to the beginning of the actual tutorial. This poster back here says, "Please excuse the mess, but we actually live here." And it is the epitome of my life. And then I have this picture back here, which is just a John Deere tractor and a barn in the fall time. And I just think it is a beautiful country picture. For right now, let me know if you like this background. I'm just talking way too much. So without further ado, if you would like to see how I got this look on my face, sit your cute little ass right where it is and keep on watching.
Hey beauties, welcome to my face, nice and close up for you. As you can see, I did do my foundation and my concealer as well as my eyebrows. This look is just going to be about the eyes, and then I will finish up the rest of my makeup towards the end. Excuse me, it's very late. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this NYX eyeshadow base, and this is in the shade White Pearl, I believe, 02. And I'm just going to take a little bit of that and dab it all over my lid all the way up to my eyebrow. And this is just going to create a base for the eyeshadow to stick to. This has a little bit of shimmer in it as well. They do make matte shades, and this is a very affordable and very good eyeshadow base. But, you know, you could pretty much use any eyeshadow base that you like. This is just a good one, and I wanted to try and keep it as drugstore as possible. So I'm just going to blend that in, kind of warm it up with my fingers a little bit and get it all over that lid. If you don't have an eyeshadow base, you can just use a concealer. It'll pretty much do the same thing. I do have a little bit of concealer on there already, so just adding eyeshadow base on top of it. So to set the eyeshadow base, because it is a cream, I'm going to use a skin colored powder. This is Ben Nye's Cameo powder, and I'm just going to dab some of that over the NYX because, like I said, it is cream. And if you don't do this, some of your eyeshadows can tend to not blend as well. So this kind of just helps everything blend together nicely. So now I'm going to go into my Z palette just to get my transition color. There is no matte shades in the Comfort Zone palette, so I'm just going to go ahead and use Creme Brulee from Makeup Geek, which is also drugstore prices and very high quality. I really like this for a transition shade. So if you have anything like it in your collection, just go ahead and use that. So I am going to take this no-named bamboo handle brush. Sorry, I don't know the name of it. I got it off of eBay in a whole set. I'm just going to dip that into creme brulee, tap off the excess because you really want to build with your transition shade. You don't want to go in with a whole bunch all at once because it's way easier to add than it is to take away. So I'm actually going to take this almost all the way up to the brow and somewhat down on the lid, just to make sure everything has a nice shadow to be able to blend into together. So now let's dip into our palette. I am going to take this brush from It Cosmetics. It's kind of hard to explain. It's the number 124. And I'm going to dip into that kind of yellow highlighted shade and just highlight my brow bone. You don't want to go all the way in. You want to stop about a third of the way in just to kind of make your brow look a little more arched and bring a little more light to that area of the eye. And then you just want to go back in. I'm going to use that same brush that I used for the transition color. No more shadow on it or anything, just to blend those two together to make sure there's no harsh lines. And then just with your standard pencil brush, this is from the same set as the Transition Mystery Brush. It's a little bit more dense, so it works very well for highlighting the inner corner of my eye. I'm going to dip back into that same highlight that we used for the brow bone and just go ahead and brighten up the inner corner of my eyeball. I like a mean inner corner highlight. If you want something more natural, you don't have to do this much. I don't know what was on my finger, but I got it on my face and it made me sad. Now taking this Morphe B79, it's just a tapered blending brush. Going into this brown color right here, we're going to start my favorite part of every eye look that I do, which is the crease. And I just kind of got the shade, the eyeshadow on the tip of the brush, and I'm just kind of placing it right into my crease. I have pretty deep set eyes, so it's really easy for me to find where my crease is at, but one thing that does kind of stink about it is I always get my crease color onto my lid, but you know, I've learned to embrace it. Also, when I put my shades into my crease, I tend to drag them down onto the outer portion of my eyelid, which you will see me do at some point. So I'm just going to go ahead and place that deeper color, make sure it's even with the other side, and give it a nice little blend. I am bringing it in pretty far, almost all the way into the inner corner of my eye, just to kind of bring some more depth. Not that I really need it, because like I said, I have pretty deep set eyes. Now taking this lighter shade right above that one, I'm going to go ahead and do pretty much the same exact thing, just to kind of change the color of that brown shade. It was a little bit boring for me, so I'm just going to go ahead and go back over it with that lighter shade. And like I said, do the same exact process. Just blend, 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 blend. Blend until your fucking arms fall off. And there it is, me pulling the shade down onto the outer portion of my eyelid. I didn't like how far it went down, so I just kind of wiped it. So I actually blended for quite a while, but I cut it down a little bit for you guys just to make the video a little bit shorter. But just keep on blending, bitches. Keep on blending. Now I'm just going to go in with this Morphe B18. It's just kind of a shorter, denser version of the B79. And we're going to go into this very deep shade all the way at the bottom here. And just put a very little bit of shadow right on the tippy tip of the brush. And go as deep into the crease as absolutely possible, just to define the eye even more. You don't really have to worry about blending too much with this brush. We are going to go in with another brush and blend it out, but you do want to make sure that it's even with the other eye. Now I'm going to go in with my favorite brush of all time. This is the Morphe M433. This is comparable to the MAC 217, and I literally have no idea how I blended without this brush before. Like, I have no clue how I lived without it. So I'm just kind of going in windshield wiper motions and circular motions. I just want to get everything all nicely blended together. So taking that same brush, I'm just going to dip into that lighter shade that we used in the crease earlier and just use it to blend everything nicely together so there's no harsh lines. That's the key to a beautiful eyeshadow look. No harsh lines, very blended. So again, I'm just using windshield wiper motions mainly and little circles here and there. So BH Cosmetics recently started numbering their brushes. This is brush number 12, just holding it all the way at the end of the handle to get a very light touch. I'm just making sure that everything is nicely, you guessed it, blended. Harsh lines are a pet peeve of mine, so I want to make sure that I don't have any when doing my look because it just makes everything look so much nicer and smoother and more beautiful and put together. So it started to get a little complicated here because I was nursing Haley at the time, but taking this deeper shade up here at the end and using this very skinny, it kind of looks like a pencil brush, but it's not tapered at the tip. It's just kind of straight. It comes in a kit from BH Cosmetics, but anything that looks like it obviously will work. I'm just using this to define the outer corner of my eye, and I do bring it up into the crease just a little bit on the outer portion just to make sure everything is nicely blended. So going into my e.l.f. Prism eyeshadow palette, it is in the shade Naked. I'm going to take this kind of gold color here for all over my lid. You can pretty much use any similar shade, a rose gold, a bronzy shade, anything you want to do will pretty much work. I just wanted to use this because it's drugstore and it's purty. So I'm just going to take this Morphe G14 brush. It's a fluffy, dense kind of shader brush, and I'm going to dip into that gold shade, and then I'm just going to go ahead and spray it with a little bit of Fix Plus, kind of to make it a little more vibrant. I love the way Fix Plus smells. You don't have to use Fix Plus. You can use any kind of makeup setting spray. Even a little bit of water would probably work. And then I'm going to go ahead and just dab it all over my lid. I don't want to go over the deeper shade. Just wherever that deeper shade is not is where I want to put this one. I did end up dipping my finger into the palette as well and just dabbing a little bit more just to make it a little more intense, and it is a very pretty eyeshadow. So I'm not exactly sure what this brush would be called, but it's a very flat and very skinny brush. It's from BH Cosmetics. I'm going to go ahead and dip it into that deep, deep, deep shade, tap it off a lot, get rid of all that excess, and I'm going to use this to line my lower lash line. Now, when I found this brush, it was like a godsend. I was terrible at smudging colors underneath of my lash line, but this brush was just like a save all, cure all. I absolutely love it. It makes it so easy to put colors under my lash line, and it works really well for blending them out when you want a more smoky look. That's not really what I was going for this time, but you can use it for that. I'm just kind of using it to line my lower lash line. I did also use my finger just to kind of blend it out a little tiny bit, just because it got a little bit too harsh for me. So I just kind of continued to blend and blend and blend that out. I did go back in with my finger a couple times just to make sure it wasn't too harsh. Once it was even with the other side and I was happy, then I stopped. Then without any product on it, I went back in with this M433 blending brush just to make sure everything was nicely blended one more time, including the outer corner. I just kind of blended that just a little bit. Looked a little crazy. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my mascara. I'm taking my all-time favorite roller lash. So the trick to this specific mascara is to kind of roll while you wiggle. You want to wiggle it up through your lashes and kind of turn it at the same time, and it kind of helps to curl your lashes. It does work, but my lashes fall pretty quickly, which is why I don't bother curling them even with an iron, because they are an iron. Oh my God, what am I talking about? With a lash curler, because since they are so long, they're kind of heavy, so I don't even bother. But this is very good for separating, because as you can see, every time I blink, they all stick right back together. So I'm going to do my bottom lashes while I wait for my first coat on the top to dry. I am using this mascara from MAC. I don't have it sitting next to me, but I will have it listed in the description for you. This is my all-time favorite bottom lash mascara. It's just so easy to use. I don't know, I guess it's the wand. I like the formula a lot too. It doesn't get crunchy and it doesn't flake. It's just a really good mascara, and for like 20 something dollars, it better fucking be the bomb, because it was expensive, but it does live up to the price tag for sure. Now I'm just taking my little metal lash comb and kind of separating my lashes. I love this thing. If you have lashes that stick together badly like mine do, you need one of these in your life because it's incredible. I couldn't live without it. I use it every single day. So now that the top layer of roller lash has dried, I'm going to go ahead and go over it with my holy grail, all-time favorite volumizing mascara, which is Better Than Sex by Too Faced. This is, like I said, holy grail. So now I'm just going to go back in with that lash comb and just make sure they're all nicely separated. They were being such a pain in my ass. I was not having a good lash day, but oh well, fuck it. So now that the eye look is complete, I'm just going to go ahead and finish the rest of my face. I'm going to take my new Tarte brush. I'm not sure what it's called, but it will be in the description. I actually really love it. This was my first time using it, and it's really, really nice. I just dipped it into my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, which is my favorite bronzer of the moment, and just went ahead and warmed up my face a little bit with it. It does pick up a lot of product because it's a very dense brush, so I did have to blend quite a bit with my bronzer today, but it blended really nicely. I also really like the way it fits right into like the contours of my forehead, and it's just a really, really nice brush. It was very expensive, but so far I'm really, really liking it. Teen Titans was on TV, and that cartoon is just hilarious. I think it's so funny. Now I'm just going to go ahead and bring some of that bronzer down onto my jawline and blend it onto my neck. It looks a little bit harsh right now, but when the look is all finished and everything is all together, it looks a lot better, and it's not so orange in person. I swear, that show just has me cracking up all the time. Now I'm going to use my all-time favorite highlighter, which is my Maryloumanizer. It's just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. And I am using my Morphe M438 tapered brush, and it's one of my favorite highlighting brushes. It just gives you a very intense highlight, but also very nicely blended out. You can use it to make a more natural look, or you can really build it up, and you'll see I really like to build up my highlight. I mean highlight. So after I finish blending out my cheekbones, I just do my Cupid's bow, a little bit on my chin, and then right down the bridge of my nose. I do use my finger for the button of my nose, though, the very, very tip, because for some reason when I use a brush, it tends to push around my concealer and foundation, so I just use my finger. Sorry guys, had to do it. So now I'm going to take my new Becca blush in Nightingale, and I'm going to use the Morphe E3 powder brush to apply it. This blush honestly is very scary, so I just use literally like the smallest amount possible that I can get on the brush, and then I tap it off and shake it and just try and get as much as the excess off as possible, and then just kind of place it where I want it and blend it and blend it and blend it. But it is so pretty. It's quickly becoming one of my favorite fall blushes because it's just beautiful. It makes you look like you just came right in from the cold. It's got those beautiful red undertones that just looks very natural on my cheeks. Becca blushes are also very high-end. They blend beautifully and they last a very, very long time on the face. So just to make sure my bronzer, blush, and highlighter all nicely blended into the skin, I'm just going to take this really fluffy Real Techniques powder brush and just blend everything pretty much all together, but kind of keeping it in its specific spot on the face. Also blending my bronzer back into my hairline, down the jawline a little bit more, just so it's not as harsh. Did have chapstick on this whole time as well, just to kind of prime my lips for a liquid lipstick, so I'm just going to go ahead and wipe most of that off because it's very oily. Now in the intro and the outro, I was wearing a different lip combination. I will put that in the description, but for the tutorial, I did decide to use my Kathleen Lights collaboration with Ofra in the shade Miami Fever. This is such a gorgeous fall lipstick. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it at first, and I ended up falling in love. It was being kind of a pain in my ass today, so my lipstick application did take quite a while, but I cut it down a little bit for you guys. So yeah, there's the finished look.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial. I hope it was a look that you can use maybe on a daily basis, or who knows, if this is a little too dark for you, maybe for a night out or something like that. I tried to do more of a neutral look that would look good on everybody. I hope you really, really enjoyed it. I love you so, so much. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah.